Hello, everybody. I'm Rene Ramos, director of the Lynn and Louis Wolfson II Florida Moving Image Archive, and this is Rewind, the show that looks back on Florida's past with historic film and video. It's time for another trip back into the past, so sit back, relax, and enjoy another episode of Rewind.
WTVJ News presents The Shortest Distance, a special report on Miami's expressway system and the May 3rd expressway bond issue. And now, Ralph Rennick.
4 years ago, this reporter sat in this chair and aired the final program of a four-part series entitled Bumper to Bumper. Some of you may remember it. For those who don't, we reached back into our film library and came up with this picture of Miami as it was back in 1956. In 1956, the city was one big traffic bottleneck. But worse yet, there was no relief in sight. There wasn't even an approved plan for an expressway system. Instead of waiting for trains at the station, we were waiting for them on the streets. And then there were the bridges. When they went up, traffic was tied up and tempers flared. There was no expressway system plan back in 1956, but in the 4 years since then, Dade County has gone a long way toward solving what is perhaps its biggest and most frustrating problem: how to move a huge volume of cars fast, efficiently, and safely. Let's take a look at some of the things accomplished in the last 4 years. North of the city, near the Broward County line, Florida's Sunshine State Parkway ends. 2 years ago, a motorist exiting at the Golden Glades interchange had no choice but to travel through the center of Miami, through the maze of traffic, if he wanted to go, say, to Key West. But now that same driver can escape from part of the traffic bottleneck. How? To answer that, let's take a trip out to North Dade. From the toll gate, we proceed south to the first stoplight. A right turn here, and we are on the Palmetto Bypass. The traffic really moves on this road. Right now, a motorist can travel it from the turnpike down to 58th Street. Soon it will be rideable to the airport. From 36th Street southward, construction is moving along swiftly, but it won't be long before a motorist will be able to ride the Palmetto Bypass all the way down to US 1 at Kendall. Now, for the person traveling to and from the airport, well, for that motorist, the 36th Street tollway is being constructed. This will eventually link Miami Beach with the airport. And this system, of course, includes the spanking new Julia Tuttle Causeway. The driving time between the beach and the airport will be shortened by some 7 minutes when the whole system is completed. It will take a motorist just 17 minutes to get from the beach to Miami International, whereas now it takes a minimum of 24 minutes for the same trip. But the biggest link in the whole expressway plan is the North-South Expressway. On the map, it runs alongside of Northwest 6th Avenue. Right now, the major work on this link is concentrated in the area between 36th Street and 75th Street. Well, this is the road we've been waiting for, one that will eventually take us all the way from the end of the Sunshine State Parkway down to and through the central business area of Miami. We are looking at construction of the North-South Expressway. We have seen the work that is being done on the Palmetto Bypass and the 36th Street Tollway. But for the overall picture, the WTVJ News crew took Southeast Florida's Road Board member, William Singer, aloft in the Goodyear blimp. And for that glimpse-eye view of the expressway system, here is newsman Dave Choate with William Singer.
Mr. Singer, right now we're over the North-South Expressway. Would you call this the major link in the expressway plan for Dade County? Yes, I would. We are now at 79th Street looking south, and you can see those bridges over the railroad tracks. And from there you can see it moving south, and we've gone quite a way in the construction on this part of it. We're already buying right away north of here, but we'll soon be riding on this section from 75th Street south down to the 36th and 7th Avenue interchange. How soon would you say that would be? Well, I would say that within 12 months, this will be rideable from 79th Street down to 36th Street. We're now moving south from 71st Street, and you can see that a good deal of the construction is already underway. We're approaching 62nd Street, where we already have the bridges connected across. Let's move a little further down the system now and see how the work is progressing further south. Mr. Singer, is that an interchange down there at 54th Street? Yes, that's the 54th Street interchange, where we'll have on and off ramps and complete free movement of traffic for all movements in every direction at this point. How many such exits like that will you have, interchanges on this road? Oh, we'll have quite a number. Of course, we'll have one at 36th Street, one at 46th, one at 54th, an overpass at 62nd, and another interchange at 75th Street, and a number more further north from there. But you will have no interchanges or intersections as such, will you, where two roads will cross? No, there'll be a complete separation of traffic. Once you get on this highway, you can ride uninterrupted by any traffic lights or cross traffic. It's a completely limited access highway.
That's how the vast expressway system looks from the air. And with us tonight is the man who designed the master plan for that system. He's Wilbur Smith, nationally recognized highway traffic engineer from New Haven, Connecticut. Well, Mr. Smith, it's been 4 years now since you presented your recommendations concerning an expressway system for Dade County. How do you think we've progressed here?
Mr. Rennick, I think you've made remarkable progress. In fact, I don't know of any city that's moving faster at the moment than the Miami area in developing an expressway program. Unfortunately, 4 years ago, you were much behind other cities, even cities of comparable size, and so you need to keep up this rapid pace if you're going to catch up and even move ahead or begin to meet the needs.
I know, Mr. Smith, you're familiar with the road problems in other areas of the country. What seems to be the major difficulty with regard to making utilization of the federal interstate highway money?
I think one of the main difficulties in this area, as well as in other areas of the country, is that the cost of these urban roads are exceeding the estimates, and the monies that are available are not producing the mileage that had been hoped for when the routes were planned. And because of the very high cost of developing urban expressways, most of the cities and in all of the states, I think, we find a problem similar to yours in Florida and Dade County, and that is that we are not getting along as fast as we need to in order to take care of the conditions which already exist, or we're not able to build the roads because of the high cost as fast as they are needed to accommodate the very rapidly mushrooming traffic demands.
There's great competition then in the country for this available money.
Great competition, and it has to be spread over a great amount of mileage.
Do you think the expressway, Mr. Smith, is the answer to the ills of modern congested traffic?
Well, we have always said, Mr. Rennick, that we believe that urban expressways are the only answer to our transportation problems. This is particularly true if we're going to properly plan and properly protect our built-up areas, and particularly the central or core districts. I don't know any way in which we can really do a good job of maintaining the stability of these areas and providing the proper economic balance except to provide the citizens rapid and efficient transportation. And in Miami, as well as in most other cities, transportation that is preferred is by automobile, and this, in our way of thinking, requires expressways.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. We will be talking with you later on in the program. But now let's take a look at where the funds come from for the projects we've been talking about and seeing. The 36th Street Tollway was financed partially through a bond issue and partly from funds from the federal government. The Palmetto Bypass is being built with primary and secondary road funds from the state. The North-South Expressway is being financed through the Federal Interstate Highway Road Program that we've been talking about. What is it? It's a plan whereby the federal government pays 90% of the construction costs, while the state and local governments pay the remaining 10%. The only trouble with this system is that Dade County is not the only county in the nation that wants funds for road building projects. The government has been coming across with some $10 to $15 million a year for Dade, but the fact of the matter is that Uncle Sam cannot keep up with Dade County. After giving us the $10 million each year, he runs out of money. With such being the case, the waiting game begins. The wait for enough funds to come through so that another segment of the expressway can be started. When this happens, work on expressways bogs down. Such a thing can happen here. Wilbur Smith has told us that we have progressed rapidly, second in the nation in Florida. There are many who would like to see this progress continue. One such man has done something about it. His name is William Singer, the father of the May 3rd Expressway bond issue. Mr. Singer, what's the purpose of this bond issue?
The purpose of this bond issue is to enable us to keep up the momentum that we have developed in building this expressway system so that we might be able to complete it by 1966 instead of 1972 or thereafter, according to the present schedule.
Just what will this bond issue buy, this $46 million?
This bond issue will specifically enable us to build a facility beginning at the southernmost point of the interstate highway system at 32nd Road near the Rickenbacker Causeway, and moving north from there across the Miami River on 2 fixed-span bridges, and then into a separation and distribution of the traffic, with one leg of it going into DuPont Plaza area and another leg moving along the Miami River under the First Street Bridge and under a new Flagler Street Bridge that will be part of this program. That's the specific things that will be done with the proceeds of this bond issue.
I believe, Mr. Singer, that with current revenue available, the expressway will be constructed from the Golden Glades interchange down to about 29th Street.
That's right.
You've just told us that the expressway bond issue will pay for the construction of the expressway from roughly 2nd Street over the Miami River down to the entrance of Rickenbacker Causeway. That still leaves one gap to be completed, and why are you building the tail end of the expressway first? Why not continue right on down from 29th Street?
We could not continue from 29th Street south without throwing too much traffic into this central area, and we are not prepared to handle this traffic until we solve these bottlenecks in this congested area. The principal bottleneck being our ability to get across the river, both north and south and east and west, and also to keep the traffic that wants to go through from interfering with the traffic that wants to shop there or park there in that area. And in doing this, therefore it's logical for us to do this part first, then we can start moving from 29th Street south.
When do you think the entire expressway will be completed if this bond issue passes and will be rideable?
If this bond issue passes, we will be able to complete this entire interstate system as well as the rest of the expressway by 1966, because we will use the funds that will be allocated to us in the future years towards the completion of this thing, and then after that we'll use the funds allocated to us for the retirement of these bonds.
$40 million of the bond issue goes for the expressway. Could you explain some of the projects to be built for the other $6 million?
The other $6 million are projects that do not qualify for federal aid. Primarily, it's the Flagler Street Bridge, which goes for about $2 million of this, and then there are a number of other projects throughout all parts of the county making up the other $4 million.
In a word, Mr. Singer, could you explain why we need this expressway money now?
We need this expressway money now because to make this a usable and rideable facility, it would take some $45 or $50 million. And with our income being about $10 million a year, if we started this based on our income in stage construction, we would have this area ripped up for a period of about 5 years. The only other way we could do it would be to sit back and wait for 5 years' funds to accumulate. And of course, with the pressures on us for money, it's quite illogical that we would be able to do so.
This interstate expressway system will be a free road, will it, Mr. Singer?
That's right. There'll be no tolls on any part of the interstate highway system.
Well, we've seen the problem that Dade faces concerning its road building program. Recognizing the problem, though, is half the job. We have the tools and manpower to follow through with the expressway plan. What we don't have is the money to finance it. We can't solve the problem with mirrors or tricky slogans. Construction costs money. What does private industry do when faced with a need for expansion? Well, let's look at what it doesn't do. It doesn't proceed on a pay-as-you-go basis. Instead, it issues securities or borrows the capital and builds its own extensions or expansion promptly. Why not use the same principle to build our roads? Many don't want to because they say the expenditure of public money means taxes. Well, let's face it, you just don't get something for nothing these days. You pay for everything, but if you shop right, you can get good values, bargains. The big question, and the only one that should concern us when buying something, be it a pair of shoes or a superhighway, is how much will it cost? But more important, is it worth it? Some 85,000 Dade freeholders will answer that last question May 3rd when they vote on the $46 million bond issue. The first question, how much will it cost, can be answered now. Mr. Singer has some figures that can shed some light on this. Mr. Singer, how much would this expressway bond issue cost a taxpayer who owns, say, a $10,000 home?
Taxpayer who owns a $10,000 home would be paying $1.25 per year for about 10 or 11 years until these bonds are paid off. If he had a home that cost $18,000, he would be paying approximately 2 cents a day. If he had a home that cost $26,000, he would be paying approximately 4 cents a day for that same period of time.
Now, is this tax a permanent one?
No, this tax is not a permanent tax. This is a tax to service this bond issue, to pay the interest of principal on these bonds. And according to our present schedule, this will be paid off in full by 1971, after which this tax would cease. And it would be impossible for the county commission or anyone else to continue it without another freeholders election authorizing it.
Well, the federal government is due to pay back the principal sum on the expressway. Do we have any guarantee, Mr. Singer, that the federal government or Uncle Sam is going to give us back the money?
We have a commitment of the federal government to build this interstate highway program. They're giving us allocations each year, and we have some $118 million still coming to us. We expect to use the money coming in the years 1961 to 1967 for additional construction. We have agreed with the Bureau of Roads that in 1968 they will return $10 million and $10 million each year thereafter, and the last payment being in 1971.
Thank you, Mr. Singer. Now we've seen what it would cost us. Doesn't seem like an awful lot to pay for a $46 million road program. Yet there are some who say they can't even afford an extra 2 or 4 cents a day in taxes. What these people don't realize is they're getting perhaps the biggest 2 cent per day bargain in history. Just what would we get for our money? Let's take a look. An Automotive Safety Foundation report shows that a motorist saves 2 cents per mile in the cost of operating his car by traveling on expressways rather than on city streets. Then consider the safety aspect. Expressways have been proven to be 5 times safer than regular roads. There are less accidents. And coincident with this, the less accidents, the lower the cost for automobile insurance. But perhaps the biggest feature of all is the saving of nerves and time. Every evening, the sun setting in the west means just one thing to thousands of Dade Countyans: the end of a long and sometimes hard day at the office. But the most difficult and most trying time of all is just beginning. It's that drive home. In a word, it's a mess. One of the biggest rush hour traffic bottlenecks can be seen near the Brickell Avenue Bridge. And no one knows that story better than Dade traffic engineer George Cundy, who has this report for us.
Yes, traffic is still bad. In fact, it's getting worse every day. This area in the vicinity of DuPont Plaza going across the Brickell Avenue Bridge south is undoubtedly one of the worst bottlenecks we have, not only in Dade County, but probably in all of southeast Florida. We've done everything that we can do to solve this thing. We have electronic signals in, fully electronic brains. We have new wide streets south of the bridge to accept the traffic. We even have policemen standing there directing the traffic and attempting to push it through the intersection, but it still won't work. The only way that we can move more traffic conveniently for all people is to build expressways that are truly designed to move traffic, not to hold it up. Now, certainly this is not a 24-hour situation as far as this type of congestion is concerned. However, when this congestion does let up, then the bridges are allowed to open, and then we have another type of congestion that will last on to the evening probably. In fact, when our bridges are not opening or closing for one thing or another, they're probably stuck in an open position to where nobody can use it at all. The only way we can actually go ahead and solve these problems is to build a permanent facility that's meant to move cars and move vehicular traffic and not to stall it. We suggest, of course, expressways as the ultimate solution to our traffic problem.
The May 3rd bond issue would give us such an expressway. What if the bond issue doesn't pass? How big a setback would it mean for Dave's road program? Mr. Singer, do you have an answer for that one?
If the bond issue doesn't pass, we'll have to stop our planning for the time being for anything south of 29th Street. And when we'll pick that up again, I don't know. We're probably running the risk of a lot of additional buildings going into the path of our right-of-way, and with the criteria of the Bureau of Roads changing, it's doubtful as to when we could move south of 29th Street.
Mr. Singer, yesterday when Governor Collins was in town, you took him on a tour of the expressway system. Let's listen now to your conversation with the governor.
Governor, we're standing here underneath this gigantic structure of the 36th Street and 7th Avenue interchange, and this is a first sign of real progress. The people can actually see this thing being physically built at this point, and happy to have this occasion to show this to you.
Well, it's a great thrill, Bill, to come here and see the actual development of this great 36th Street interchange, which is going to be one of the most magnificent and complex interchanges, I understand, that we have in the whole nation in highway construction. I'm very proud of progress we are making now in road construction in this area. You know, road development takes a lot of vision, it takes a lot of leadership and a lot of cooperation and a great deal of support. And Bill, you've done a magnificent job of being able to see the need and also in being able to develop the cooperation and obtaining the public support that is essential.
Thank you, Governor. You know, we're in the process now asking the people in this community to support a further program in connection with a proposed $40 million bond issue. And we'd be interested in hearing you express yourself on that, Governor.
Well, I'm sure that people must understand already that I deeply hope that they will approve that bond issue and give us this support.
Governor, if this bond issue is approved, we will be able to complete the entire expressway system, representing $283 million in cost, by 1966 instead of 1972 or thereafter as presently scheduled.
That's wonderful, Bill, and I just I feel confident that people will back you up on that. You give them the facts and let them understand it, and I just believe that the fine progressive spirit of this community will back you.
Tonight we've been talking about expressways, 8-lane roads running right through the heart of the city. One really has to stretch his imagination to visualize what Miami will look like in the not-too-distant future. But to help us out, we have before us in the studio a giant model of the city of Miami, constructed through a joint effort of the city and the Metro Planning Departments. According to the planners, this is what your city is supposed to look like in 1985. Mr. Singer, I notice that expressways seem to ring the central business area here.
Yes, sir. This is the east-west expressway, which will come from the MacArthur Causeway Bridge and go over Biscayne Boulevard and over the railroad tracks and into the 36th Street and 7th Avenue interchange.
Let's walk around the side of the model till we get to the downtown bridge area. Now, this is something in the realm of reality. This is the project, isn't it, Mr. Singer, that's included in that bond issue on May 3rd?
That's right. This is the north-south expressway. This is the Flagler Street Bridge, and we propose to build everything from here south to 32nd Road out of the proceeds of this bond issue.
Well, this expressway comes down alongside the Miami River and spans over southwest 2nd Avenue, and this is a giant interchange here near the bridge.
That's right. This is our downtown interchange, one leg of it going into the DuPont Plaza area, and the other leg going over these high-level bridges and heading south.
Mr. Smith, I notice the road goes out on the other side there near Biscayne Bay. Is this part of your design plan for Miami?
Yes, we feel that ultimately you will have to circumvent the downtown area, as the planners have indicated here, with some type of road along the edge of the bay. Of course, this can be developed in stages, and I believe the initial stage would simply carry the expressway down into the Biscayne Boulevard area, and the Bay Loop would come at a later date.
Mr. Singer, this road cuts right through downtown, goes out to the south end of town. This points up perhaps the fact that the expressway system just isn't for the convenience of people who work downtown. Tell us how it would serve the entire county.
This would serve the entire county by the fact that the people going from Miami Beach, for example, to Coral Gables, or from North Miami to South Miami, they would take some of these expressway routes and avoid the congestion of the downtown area, the traffic in the downtown area, and go on a completely limited access facility from wherever they begin to wherever they go without and avoid all that trouble that they now have in the central area.
Could you tell us, Mr. Smith, what it's like to ride on one of these completed facilities? What can the people of Miami look forward to when they can get on into their automobiles and ride on the expressway?
As we pointed out in our earlier discussions, and I think it is apparent from the model, these expressways are built without intersections at grade. They are designed for high safe speeds, design speeds of 60 miles an hour, but operating speeds somewhat less than that, of course, so that with continuity of speed and with the safety factors involved, the travel will be much improved over congested streets.
Well, that gives you a picture of Miami of the future. Much of the progress of the city and the county is dependent on the movement of traffic about the area. You've seen and heard the story of the shortest distance, the story of Miami's expressway bond issue. And you've seen in this model an inkling of what the expressways will look like. The voters of this city and county, property holders who have re-registered for the bond election May 3rd, have the opportunity, a unique one, to bring us out of the doldrums and small-town thinking and help us emerge onto the road to the future with a modern plan of expressways to benefit all areas of Dade County. We strongly urge a yes vote on the May 3rd expressway bond issue. Let's help Greater Miami, a great area, today to become even greater tomorrow. Good night.
WTVJ News has presented The Shortest Distance, a special report on Miami's expressway system and the May 3rd expressway bond issue. The Shortest Distance was written by Dave Choate. Film editor, Joe Martinez. Your narrator, Ralph Rennick. This program was directed by Martin Saxon.
That's about it for this edition of Rewind. Just time to remind you that Rewind features historical film and video from the Lynn and Lewis Wolfson II Florida Moving Image Archives. To see more from the Wolfson Archives collections, visit our website, wolfsonarchives.org. You can search the archives catalog and watch video online. And be sure to connect to our YouTube channel, where you will find hundreds of carefully curated clips, or link to the Wolfson Archives Facebook page to keep up with our busy calendar of historical happenings. Until next time, I'm Rene Ramos. Thanks for watching.